Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We appreciate you guys coming on. And we'll see if we can say hello again this morning. We love doing that. Of course, we like to thank you for joining us as you get your notifications. And good. Okay, we got a good day coming. Here we go. Folks are starting to come on with us. We appreciate that big time. And hello, hello, hello. Let's just see when I can see anything here. Okay, should be coming up here anytime. Here we go. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, who do I got first here? Kevin, Brahim. I'm too close again, eh? What did I do? Okay, I'm going to back off because I don't know why. How's that? Okay, look better? Okay. I don't know why, guys. Brahim and Kevin right up at the top. Rosalinda and who else here? Lisa. And Judy, good morning. Dennis, Natalie, Janice from Brampton. Brahim says I'm too close. Not anymore, Brahim. Everything good? Lynn Marie, Bonnie, Sandy, Debbie, Frida, Chili, Devlin, Frances Marie, Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, Gertie from Burlington, Serpa from Dowling, Danny, good morning, Milika, Stouffville, Luella, West Tennessee, Marianne, Patricia, how are you? Gail, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, and it's snowy. Darlene from Alberta, how are you, my dear? Sherry and Rose from Brampton. Hi, Deb from Timmins. And I'm saying happy birthday to Deb's daughter, Lucy. Hi, Lucy, if you're on with us this morning. Happy birthday. Lori, Kathy. Kathy said she loves my hat. Me too. The doctor is in podcast hat. And wait a minute, Cecilia. Hi, Lise from Sudbury. John from Elgin, Illinois. Sandy. Dave, Francis, Paula Joe. Hi, Paula Joe. Beverly, New Brunswick. Another Patricia, Anna, Sandy. Did I already say? No. Vancouver, Washington. Vera. Nice to have you on. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Maureen, how are you? In Boca Raton. Diane. In Maryland, Sandy, off center of camera. Okay, well, you know what? I don't understand that. Okay, if I move this way, better? I don't. I see that I'm off center when I'm looking at this one. Okay, I just don't. Okay, so this is the way to move. Okay, how's that? Give me a thumbs up if I'm centered better. I have no idea what's going on, guys. I really don't. Okay, I see myself here being better centered. Okay, what is today? Well, we're going to go through some headlines today, okay? So I've got how many studies here? Studies and articles. 1, 2, see how many we get. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 new studies that I want to comment on. Let's see if we can get to all 5. If not, and let me start off with this one. Vitamin E wins again. Vitamin E. Now, you know, here at the Doctor is In podcast, we have our own vitamins. Okay. And sometimes we change what the world calls a vitamin, like vitamin E. Okay. the real vitamin E is exercise, because it's so much more important than the other original vitamin E. So we change it, okay? I'm not saying vitamin E is no good for you. I'm telling you the real vitamin E it's unreal, guys. The more they study exercise, move, get stronger, it's incredible. This is a new study out. Vitamin E, this is my headline, vitamin E wins again. If you do 12,000 steps a day, overall death rates, now we're all going to die, guys, okay? So when you see this, it's just, what exercise does, it prolongs your life. Amazing, okay? Now, you can be the healthiest person in the world and be out for a walk and get hit by a bus. Yeah, that can happen. But I'm just telling you, vitamin E is good for you. Unbelievable. The more they research it, nobody's arguing with it anymore. At least not that I've seen anybody push back on it. 12,000 steps overall risk of death, all-cause mortality down 65%. 12,000, 8,000 steps a day, 51%. So it's not even talking about getting strong, and you know that. Like if you listen to me and any of my podcasts, I'm big on, I love moving. I love walking, I really do. I walk every day. But one of the biggest keys, of course, and this is related a lot to your brain, by the way, is muscle building. Okay, so we love at the clinic here to talk about get strong. Move and get strong. Get stronger. You can get stronger at any age. 80, get stronger. Okay? You're not going to be a 20-year-old lifting weights, but you can get stronger. Amazing. The connection that has to longevity, to the function of your brain, it's amazing. Okay? 8,000 steps, overall mortality decreased 51%. Okay, so that's study number 1. Vitamin E wins again. Number 2, on the hit parade this morning, microplastics. Okay, we talk about this a lot. It's worse than we thought. Yikes. Because they're showing in the New England Journal of Medicine that microplastics make the heart worse. So heart disease, we talk about this a lot, right? Because it's the number 1 killer today. And what they're saying here in this study in the New England Journal of Medicine is that it's worse than we thought. The microplastics, we know that. At least our audience knows that, right? You guys know that. We talk about this all the time. And by the way, you're not getting away from it. I'm not a half, half empty or half full guy. I'm an optimist, guys, I really am, but I'm also a realist. And it's just the way it is. And I would rather, and guys, I don't want to be political, but sometimes you have to dip your toe in the water of politics. And I really think the world is on the wrong track when they talk about the climate rather than the environment. Okay? They talk about the climate and not the environment because of, again, we're consuming 1.5 credit cards worth of microplastics a week on average. And it's everybody. Now, I've tried to instill in you folks, what do you do about it? You live on the planet. If your address ends with planet Earth, you're going to be exposed to microplastic. You can take all the plastic out of your life. You can, never see plastic again. Good luck with that, by the way. But secondly, you could do all that. But it's in the water. It's in the air. And what I did on one of the podcasts years ago, I said, it's from Mount Everest, and that's the truth, by the way, into the placenta of babies. You go to the highest mountain in the world and then go into the placenta. And the microplastics are there. You can't get away from it. But you can do something about it. And I am a firm believer in, and I'm telling you, the research is going to bear this out. I guarantee it. That if you keep your liver clean, keep it clean. Don't let it get piled up with fat. Okay? That is a big detox organ, and your body will do the job. 1. 2, probiotics, broad spectrum probiotics. And there's certain strains especially that really mop up microplastics and other toxins. So I'm big on that. Prevention. Because you're not getting away from it. You can have an island all by yourself in Costa Rica. You've heard my Costa Rican story, right? A lady comes into the office, and this is a true story. She's leaving the world to go to Costa Rica, and she said, I've got a little place there. Nobody's around it, and I'm leaving on a jet plane, and I don't know when I'm coming back again. And she looks at me like for, she's a patient, for approval. And I'm looking at her like, what? What do you think that's going to do? She said, what? Well, I said, do you think you're getting away from plastic? It's in the ocean. It's in the air. You think you're getting away from that? Even if you got your own place? And then I said, what about your family? It sucks. Anyway, I think she was saying, well, isn't that the greatest thing you're doing? You can't get away from it, my friend. So if you can't get away from it, what do? Take care of yourself. Make your body into a fighting machine. Build your immune system. A lot of people don't understand the importance of you taking care of you. Do everything you can. It's the world in which we live in. Get used to it. And go, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to minimize the side effects of microplastics, microtoxins. We're surrounded by it, guys. Anyway, okay. I'm not a negative guy. A realist. Okay, that was microplastics and the heart and how it damages your heart. Worse than they thought. And that was out of the New England Journal of Medicine. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, where's the third one? Oh, you guys knew this, right? This will not surprise you. We're going to talk about vitamin C for a minute. 3 to 5 cups of coffee. I like that because they got it right. Because what's in the middle between 3 and 5? 4. That's the sweet spot of coffee. And for 50 years I've been telling you this. When they said that coffee was no good for you, here's another study. 3 to 5 cups of coffee a day may add 5 years to your lifespan. May. Well, there's no guarantees. It may. Yeah, it may. And guys, I'm very much into anti-aging. But I like quality of life more than quantity of life. Okay? I'm into quality, not so much quantity. Because I've seen people, a lot of people over the years, they're 87, 88, 90, 95, but they got Alzheimer's. And I don't want that. Do you? It's not quantity. I want quality. And when I talk about anti-aging, I'm talking about quality of life. And not necessarily, I know people, I've had people tell me I have every intention of living till I'm 110 years old. Well, good luck with that. Okay? Good luck with that. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but, well, my uncle, he lived till he was 103, my aunt, 104, and, I got the genetics. Yeah, that's by the grace of God, folks, okay? That, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, okay. 3 to 5 cups of coffee a day may add 5 years to your lifespan. That's the headline. That's the headline. Okay? I shouldn't get too close, right? I'm looking at myself here on this device. I don't know why I'm so close to you. Is it all right? That's all right, though. It seems to be all right. I just had to move back. Okay. So that's study number 3 we want to look at this morning. This is another one on the microbiome and Alzheimer's. New study on the microbiome and Alzheimer's, okay? And this was a small study, but interesting. It said this. They took an early Alzheimer patient, okay? And they look at the microbiome. They can analyze that, okay? And that's something that we couldn't do. When I talked about the microbiome, you couldn't even analyze it. It was almost just like theory, okay? Go back 20, 30 years. It was theory. And even doctors today, the microbiome, okay? What? Like they don't think of leaky gut. They don't think of leaky gut, leaky brain. But anyway, this study did, and it looked at, and it was just a small study, but what they did with this early onset Alzheimer's, okay, they did a fecal transplant. Now, do you know what that is? Okay. Fecal, poop, transplant. And I don't know about in the United States. I have to think about it a little bit and look it up. But it's in its infancy in terms of studying it. But what they did is they take this study looked at the microbiome of the Alzheimer's patient. Okay, and it seemed to be compromised. So a lot of, and one of the things they were looking at, in this study at least, was the presence of C. difficile. Okay, you know what that is? Okay, very difficult bacteria, very antibiotic resistant. Okay, and you get C. difficile, by the way, in the hospital. The most dangerous place in the world is not Afghanistan. It's your hospital. Okay? And look, you got to go to the hospital, you got to go to the hospital. They can save your life. Okay? I'm not being facetious. I am just telling you that it's true. The most dangerous place in the world is your hospital. Why? The bugs. They have super bugs. And one of them is called C. difficile. Now, why does that happen? Well, I believe for two reasons. I mean, obviously, people that are in the hospital are immunocompromised almost invariably. Okay? Almost invariably. Two, they overuse antibiotics. Almost invariably. Three, here's me, okay? Now, don't get mad. I'm going to say the third thing. What happens in the hospital? They overclean. And they use all these chemicals to clean. And what that does, it strips away. You know when they say 99.9% of all the germs are being destroyed? Guys, you don't want to live in that environment. You don't want to live in that environment. You're not supposed to be in a sterile environment. I can understand why they do it in a hospital. But guys, if you ever did a swab, okay, in your home, you'd be shocked of the amount of bacteria that's in a home. But don't get uptight about it. Don't overclean. Don't strip away all bacteria. Oh, I want to be completely germ-free. Okay? Well, first of all, you're never going to be completely germ-free. It's an impossibility. And your body is actually made to withstand bacteria. The problem in the hospital is they got these super bugs. And then you're super sick to start off with, and your immune system is far from super, and then you get C. difficile, and that can kill you. Okay? Now, why did I ramble like that? Okay? Is because they did this study with a patient that had C. difficile, and they took healthy bacteria, put it in healthy poop. Okay? What? Do you think there's anything healthy in poop? Well, there's bacteria there. And they took that healthy, from a healthy donor, and implanted it in the gut of the Alzheimer's patient, and small study, okay? Then they scanned the brain. And within a few weeks, the brain improved. Leaky gut, leaky brain. Where have you heard that before? On this program. Talk about it all the time. The connection between, this I made up, guys. I don't know if you like my illustrations, but this is the way I think, and I got to look at, that's how I remember stuff, okay? So you got a northern border and a southern border in your body. The northern border is your brain, your blood-brain barrier. Your southern border is your gut-blood barrier. They're connected. They're connected through blood, obviously. Blood goes, blood goes everywhere. And then you're also connected by the vagus nerve, your 10th cranial nerve. The connection from it runs your parasympathetic nervous system, your 10th cranial nerve. And it seems like studies have been done that the microbiome communicate with each other along the 10th cranial nerve, the connection between your brain and your gut. You ever get butterflies in your stomach? Right? You're nervous, you get butter, you feel it in your stomach, you can even get nauseated. Now that's your 10th cranial nerve. It's connecting your brain, and we know today that your gut's got more serotonin than your brain has. And the more they study the gut, the more they study the microbiome, the more they realize, holy moly, Hippocrates was right 2,000 years ago when he said, all diseases start in the gut. They thought he was a lunatic. The gut's got a huge connection, and he didn't even know, Hippocrates didn't even know about the microbiome guys. But that connection, and what I've taught you in the past is when you have leaky gut, you have leaky brain. Why? Well, because if you don't have enough good guys and you have what they call a dysbiosis in your microbiome, that means you have more bad guys than good guys. You have a compromise at the borders. I've taught you that. You have a compromise. And what happens is you have an invasion of the Trojan horse. Yeast, fungus. Guys, I've been preaching this for 40 years. Fungus, yeast. I remember doing a study. I think we had 500 people involved with, they were diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. So you're going back a lot of years now. Almost 40. And they all had leaky gut. And they all had an overgrowth of yeast. Well, yeast, guys, a little bit of yeast, well, you know what the Bible says about it. It corrupts. Put yeast in bread, right? Leaven. It infiltrates the whole batch. And it gets into the brain, and yeast, by the way, is a carrier. It's a wagon. It carries toxins into the brain. And for example, again, I'll bring you not only Alzheimer's, but Parkinson's. Why do we see today, something that used to be rare, ALS, and something that used to be rare, it was around, and that is Parkinson's. Why do we see so much of that? I'm a why guy. Why are we seeing all that today? Okay? Why so much of it? Well, leaky gut, leaky brain. When they find mercury in the brain, when they find lead in the brain, when they find aluminum in the brain, how did it get there. So this small study, I like it because they're thinking. They're looking at the microbiome. They're looking at the connection between leaky gut and leaky brain. And in this small study, and by the way, this Dr. Martin, should I do a fecal transplant? Well, hold on. I didn't tell you to do that. Okay? But I think it's got real possibilities. And like I said, right now, as far as I know, it's only approved with patients with C. difficile. And even then, who's doing it? You hardly hear about it. But I like it because they're looking, where I always say cholesterol, they're looking for love in all the wrong places. Well, with leaky gut, at least if they're looking at that, they're looking for love in the right places. Because you look at the gut, and you look at Alzheimer's, and type 3 diabetes, by the way, Alzheimer's, okay, blood flow. I talk to you guys about that all the time. Blood flow, blood flow, blood flow. Sugar is so destructive, but sugar is destructive in leaky gut too because it feeds the wrong guys. It feeds the Trojan horse that came in and sneaks into your bloodstream called fungus or yeast, Candida albicans. That'll get up into your brain. It goes everywhere. Lungs, anywhere where there's moisture. Yeast is the first cousin of mold, and mold is very toxic. Anyways, did I get to all of them? No, I got one more. Okay, I got one more. We'll do that one because it's a good one. Okay. Now, guys, tomorrow is Thursday, but it's Q&A Thursday tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to do Q&A tomorrow. Get your questions in. It's not too late. Friday, I'm traveling. Friday, I'm off. So I'm telling you, okay, just to give you a reminder, I'm a senior. I would forget. But no Doctors in podcasts on Friday. Okay? Not live, anyways. Okay. Friday, okay, we'll announce this tomorrow again. The book, Rebuilding Your Temple, available. Great Christmas gift. Will be delivered to you so you can give them to your friends and family and whatever. Makes a great gift, and I mean it. Okay? And that's available in Canada already, but in the United States, Friday. Okay? It will be available. So go to martinclinic.com for the book. Okay, we love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.